Whether you are new to a community or you've always been around in one area for a while and you're wondering, how do I get out and get involved in my community? How can I meet more people? How can I become more involved with what's happening? There are many things that you can do, from joining local chambers to even Lions clubs and Rotaries. And today I'm talking to Josh Radziej, who's going to share how he's found and helped create a community through these different organizations. I'm Natalie Webster, and this is Tonka Talk, where we share all things community and connection. So Josh, tell me about, you grew up in the area. You grew up in the Lake Minnetonka area.
I did, yeah. Right down the road. So grew up on, right off of Highway 7 and 44, a little lake community over there. It was fun. Great place to grow up, that's for sure.
So you grew up around the Lake Minnetonka area. You went to, was it Mound High School?
Yep, I graduated from Mound, went to Minnetonka for a little bit. My dad coached football there for 30 years, so we had a business in Minnetonka. So, yeah.
Oh, what kind of business?
A little bit of both. A family dry cleaner. I would have been a third-generation dry cleaner.
What happened that derailed that?
It just wasn't for me. I just decided it wasn't for me. I had a friend working at an insurance company in Excelsior, Chad Babcock State Farm, and he was like, "You should come try this out." And I ended up, that's kind of where I found my niche in Excelsior too, of just really learning to love that specific community as well as, growing up in the area. But
so now you work in insurance.
Yep.
And part of why we're chatting today is because you're really dialed in and involved with a lot of local organizations, from the Excelsior-Lake Minnetonka Chamber to Rotary and Lions Club. And I was curious as to, how does that work? Because sometimes when you meet people, they're like, "Oh, I go to Rotary. Oh, I belong to the chamber." It's not too often where you meet someone that kind of is out there trying it all out.
Does it all, exactly. And I can't say I wish I could give more to each individual one, but I kind of, I want to be a part of, all of it. And I became friends with a lot of store owners in town and Excelsior and other business owners and things like that. And I just kept hearing all this feedback from business owners and store owners and employees of places going, "Gosh, I wish they would do this instead of that, or this instead of that." So I've definitely joined them all to try and, have a voice for people that aren't, voicing themselves. So
exactly. Yeah. A lot of times, and I think this is the same in multiple communities, not just ours here, where there's, especially with social media, there's a lot of hubbub about something, or people upset about this change or that change.
Yep.
And you often make a good point, because you encourage people to, hey, take that passion, and if you want to create that change, come join the chamber where we talk about this and can create something different.
Exactly. I mean, that's totally it. At events in town, they're like, "Well, we should add more food or more this," and people aren't understanding how much time these organizations really put into it, and people are volunteering their time. This isn't, in most cases, they're volunteering their time. So you have to remember that people spend a lot of time doing this, and they care about it. So they're not trying to take away or do things. They've tried things, and those things cost money too. And where are the funds coming from? And how are they getting donated? And people need to, take that into consideration as well.
So tell me a little bit about the Lions Club, for example. I've heard about it. I see a lot of the good work that they're doing, but I really wouldn't know what to tell somebody if they asked me, "What is the Lions Club?" Does it have anything to do with a lion?
Okay, now you're putting me on the spot. No, I'm kidding. I felt the same way. I joined about maybe a year, 2 years ago under Chad's, business and going in. I had no idea. So I'm like, well, do we actually collect eyeglasses? Or because I remember as a kid at the dry cleaners, we always had the, bins for eyeglasses. And it's evolved over the years, but it's 100% volunteer charity group. It's like $125 a year. We do one meeting a month, and we have all sorts of fun things. So we do like a golf tournament. We do a bar crawl that's for children's cancer. I believe you had Kathy on Tonka Talk for that. But we are going to do a meat raffle this year, which we did last year, but we've kind of evolved it. We have more details coming out on that. But it's all for donations, all volunteering, and it's all Lions and others as well, but it's all the money we really try to focus. Our goal is 80% goes right back into our community right here, not outside, right here. So,
and what type of things or projects or events does the Lions Club fund then?
Yeah, so the one is children's cancer. That's what we picked up this year.
Oh, sure.
And eyesight is huge. It actually is, and not a lot of recognition towards that. But, we're very lucky in the United States. But we still give a larger donation to the international club. We just recently did a huge, I can't take credit for it, but thing for Maui. They did at the brewery. Yeah, they partnered with the brewery on it. I believe they gave over $5,000 directly to our Lions group in Maui. So they're on the ground and they can give those funds however they can. So we're really, if there's a need, of something local that's important to our community, we like to know, and that's where the money's going. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. How does that different from, say, the Rotary? And these are things that are pretty much in almost every community going across the United States.
Yep. They're international clubs. Yeah. So, there really isn't a huge difference. It's just who's doing what, and it's great to have all of it. So, the Rotary, one of their biggest things would be concert in the Commons, and I hear complaints about that all the time too. And it's like, it's wonderful because we need volunteers, we need donors, we need stuff because they donate so much money back to our community and making it look beautiful and all these different things. And that's great. If you have an opinion, you should come and help and voice it and really give back. But I wouldn't say there's a really big difference. I mean, it's all about volunteering and giving back, and with both of those. So
Sure. It's great that you're able to do both of those and then be involved in things like the chamber. And again, there's chambers in communities all over the United States. And we're specifically talking about the Excelsior-Lake Minnetonka Chamber, who does so many events in the area that have been going on for so long. What are some of your favorite things as a member of the chamber? What are some of your favorite things to do?
It's awesome just to be involved and to hear about stuff that's going on in our community. The chamber is I think it's a 503c, so it's a little bit different than the Rotary and the Lions, but their main thing is to bring business and help private enterprise and help these small business owners really, let people know they're there and what services they offer. And they really run a big part of our events, which, Rotary helps with, Lions helps with, all these other people as well. But they are in charge of the fireworks, They do the firecracker run. They do the St. Patty's stuff. They really are bringing people into making Lake Minnetonka a destination, and bringing money into the small business owners, and people in our community. So, yeah. So
what would you recommend to somebody that was, say, new to the area or moving into even a different community who wanted to get involved? Which one of these types of organizations do you think that they should start with?
Join them all. No, I'm
kidding.
Join them all. I'm kidding. It's a really good question. I would go to all of them. They're all free. They love visitors. You can really, who do you jive with, and what's important to you and giving back to your community and being a part of it. I mean, there's committees all over, for every event, everything. And I think I'd encourage you to visit the Rotary. They have a free breakfast at Maynard. Who doesn't love free breakfast? Just go and visit. You don't have to say anything. They won't point you out. It's a big, great group of people. I believe they have an afternoon one as well. I spoke about the Lions. It's once a month for lunch. We would love to have you there. You don't have to know anything about anything. You just go and enjoy and be with your neighbors,
Yeah.
And same with the chamber. The chamber, I would say a little bit more if you're a business. You know what I mean? If you have a business, you want to represent your business, you want to get it out there, that would be for that. But also the volunteering. I mean, they need so many volunteers, or these events they're not going to be there. And people don't realize how much work goes into that. We take it for granted that we have concert in the Commons and that we can complain about it. You know what I mean? And all these other events that they make it happen. So, kudos to them.
There's no shortage, definitely, of volunteers for many of this. And you bring up a good point, because I don't think a lot of people realize how much work goes into it, how many volunteers it takes. And I like your point of view, because I feel the same way. If you have a complaint about it, that's fine, but then do something about it.
Exactly.
Put your shoulder to the wheel and create change from the inside.
Yeah, seriously. Say, I'm going to join that committee. I want to make sure that, I'm just picking out of a hat, but 4th of July is better. A concert in the comments. It's like, come, join, reach out to that organization and say, how can we help you? I have some really good ideas. Me and my family want to donate our time to a couple of the events and whatever, you know, so.
What are some of your favorite events in the area?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I really love any great event. But 4th of July is just always a good one. The firecracker run is fun. And setting up in the morning. The St. Patty's Day race, it's always interesting to see what the weather is going to be like.
Exactly.
Is it 60 degrees or 10 degrees? Me and Chad, always tradition, wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We go get the bananas, the donuts, and set it all up. And it's just truly just to be a part of any of them. But yeah, I would say those are my top two. The Klondike is a different, just fun event in general. It's actually not specifically involved with any of those organizations, but Klondike has really become
huge.
It has.
Huge. And if you're not familiar, can you tell people a little bit about it?
Yeah, as much as I know. But yeah, just from going the last few years, they've done it, I think 3 years, skipped one in between.
It's a dog race.
Yeah, it's a sled dog race, and they come from all over the world. I mean, it's, Alaska to I think even like maybe a team from Iceland or something, Greenland. I mean, it's really cool. If you've never done or come, it's free. They have food, they have hot drinks, the restaurants have promotions, and it's really become a staple of our community. People talk about it all around when I travel. They're like,
all year round. All year round, too, because there's little fundraisers here and there to support the Klondike.
Yeah. So, and it's not direct in any of those, but I mean, that's another thing, if you want to be a part of it. I know Bill Damberg, he owns Brightwater downtown, has a big presence in that, and many other people as well. So, yeah.
I would have to say, I think I agree with you. 4th of July is a ton of fun. And what I like is because it kicks off with, there's the run, which I skip. But then there's the parade.
Oh, it's an all-day
thing.
The
kids' parade, the bike parade. Yep. So many people, especially if it's a great weather day. Yep. It is just absolutely packed with a sea of people.
Yeah, it's
just
awesome.
Having a great time. All marching, heading down to the Excelsior Commons to kick off the festivities for 4th of July.
Exactly. And it keeps getting better and better and better. I would say people, take into consideration to what COVID really did to our community. I don't, when people are like, oh, the fireworks were so much better when I was a kid. It's like, okay, you guys, well, you have to remember all the funding that was lost. I mean, the chamber, don't quote me, please, but I mean, they were hanging on by their legs. I mean, there was like two people that were there. I know the Lions, I believe, were down to like 5 members, and now we're at like 40 strong.
Sure.
Rotary, I don't know directly, but I mean, all these groups, there was no private funding. So we're really building back all of our events in the Lake Minnetonka area, getting that funding back, doing the burgers bingo, all the stuff that creates these events, and they're just getting bigger and better. They really are. So
there's a lot going on, and I'm really excited about potential new events. There's always things happening around the lake. If you're familiar with the Lake Minnetonka area, then there are multiple cities and villages, communities around the lake that have their own city hall, but come together for many of these events. That's what I love most about it. And the biggest thing too is how many events there are in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Things do not shut down around Lake Minnetonka just because it's really cold out. There, like you were saying, the Klondike Derby, there's so many that happen where you just got to dress for it.
Yep. And I mean, they're really building them up. I know the chamber has big plans. They did Halloween this year. I don't know. Were you a part of the witches?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't do Witches Night Out, but we handed out candy on Water Street in Excelsior.
It was huge. And next year, I think they might be planning some other really fun things. So it's like everything is just building and getting bigger and funner for our small community.
Totally. It's so much fun. I think that given because you have such passion for community and getting out there and connecting with people. I mean, you really walk the walk. You really, you go to these things, you're helping, you're putting your shoulder to the wheel. I think maybe you should run for city council or something like that coming up. I'm sure this is not the first time you've heard this.
I have heard it before. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do like to be a part of our community. And, it's funny, people have laughed at that. And I've been to a lot of city council meetings. Yeah. That is not a joke either. Those people work really hard. They're very intelligent. And I'd encourage it. There's another thing is, people make all these judgments on all the council or, whoever. Go to a city council meeting. If you want to, hear
they're
what's
open
going
to the
on,
public.
Go there. Go listen to what they have to say. I mean,
and if you don't catch them live, you can watch them online on demand through any city's website. If you go to their website or go to the, I might get this wrong, but I think it's lmcc.org.
Yep. I believe you're right. So
where you can watch these city council meetings from all over the land.
We're back with battery.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. And I think I'm still running, so I'll just cut that out. So yes, getting involved in all of these things, I think, is a wonderful way too for people, even if they're new to the area, any community anywhere, to meet people. Is if you are a business owner, go ahead and join your local chamber. If you're not, you can join the Rotary, you can join the Lions Club. And it sounds like these aren't a ridiculous amount of fees, and you get to do things directly in your community.
Totally. I mean, it's all very reasonable what it costs and what you can get out of it. So,
well, and I'm going to hold out for Josh Radziej, City Council.
Coming soon, not today, but
not today.
One day.
Maybe coming soon. You heard it here. Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing about this and talking about the different ways that you find community through these different groups. It definitely makes me want to go and check out a Rotary or Lions Club.
Come
you
with
hear
me.
about it.
Be my guest. Come.
I should. I'll be your
really
guest.
should.
There's food involved, right?
Yes. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Are you committing now?
Oh, that's a little early. What is tomorrow?
Maybe next time. But
I will. The dumb thing is I am up. I'm usually up ridiculously early.
Yeah.
But I usually like to, wean myself into the day. I like my coffee in bed. But
I get it.
I would leave the house early for that because it does sound like a lot.